Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the St. Mark's Kids Chat. We have some special guests with us again today. Our cousins Lucy and Mason are here with us. Hooray! Lucy and Mason. Okay, so today in Sunday school, you guys are going to learn about trusting God no matter what happens in life. So let me ask you something. Is there weird stuff going on in our lives right around now? Is there coronavirus and all these things that are just kind of strange and foreign and all that? So in Sunday school, our lesson comes to us from Jeremiah chapter 29 verses 4 through 14. And it's actually a letter in the Bible that was written by Jeremiah, who was a prophet. And what is a prophet? Remind us, do you guys remember?
Someone that obeys God and sends
messages. Yeah, exactly. It's someone that sends messages from God to the rest of the people. So that's what a prophet does, is they take information and they're kind of passing it along to everybody else. So they kind of have a special relationship with God. So he wrote a letter to the Jews who were in exile. So what does exile mean? What do you guys think? Ever heard of that word? It's kind of an interesting word. Exile means
people
that you're...
who don't obey God.
They were, well, some of them weren't at that time. But if you're in exile, it means that you're leaving your home. Because guess what happened? So the Jews were living in Judah, but the Babylonians, they came in and they captured them. So I have a map to show you guys right here. This map, I'm going to hold it up so that you guys can see it, and then we'll show it to our friends at home. So this map right here shows how they went from Judah all the way to Babylon, okay? I'll hold it up here. So that red line shows how the Jews were in exile, meaning they were leaving their home and they were going from Judah all the way to Babylon because the Babylonians had captured them. So, but you know what was interesting? Is that in this letter that Jeremiah wrote to the Jews, he had some very specific instructions. So in this letter, he said a few things. He said, number one, I want you to settle in. I want you to work for the good of the country that you are being held in captivity of. And I want you to have children. I want you to stay there for 70 years. I want you to have peace and prosperity. And I also don't want you to listen to false prophets. Those are a lot of instructions. So I'm going to ask you something. How would you feel if you were captured and brought to a foreign country and this prophet came and told you that you'd have to stay there for 70 years? How would you feel?
I'd faint.
You'd faint. How would you guys feel? Would you be happy?
No.
Would you? No, because if you're there for 70 years, do you think that's almost your entire life?
Yeah.
It would be really close, right? So that's a really, really long time. And there was these other false prophets who were saying, oh, we're only going to be here a short time, don't worry. But Jeremiah said, no, the Lord has plans for you, and I want you to be listening to him. So it would be really kind of hard to listen to that, right? So there was another verse that I want to show you guys here that says this. I'm going to hold it up here and then I'll read it and you guys can look at it. It says, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. That's from Jeremiah 29:11. So given this verse that we're hearing, do you guys, how does that make you feel in terms of like waiting around for 70 years? What do you think? Does this give you like a sense of hope that God has something on the horizon? Yeah. He does, right? So let me ask you this. How would you, why do you think they were there for 70 years, first of all? Why do you think that God chose 70 years? What do you think?
No clue.
No clue? It's kind of a long time, right? Mm-hmm. So we don't know exactly the reason why, but there's a theory that it's the possibility that an entire generation of sinful people had to live and die before they would bring the rest of the people back home to their homeland. So, but we don't know. We don't know for sure. But we do know that there's another verse that is hopeful and gives us hope in this time of waiting of 70 years. So I'm going to hold it up here so that they can see it too. it says, you will seek me and find me whenever you seek me with all of your heart. Jeremiah 29:13. And it also says after that in verse 14, it says that I will bring you out of captivity if you seek me. Okay, so what does seeking mean? Now let me ask you guys that. What is seeking God? What do you do in order to seek God?
Believe in him.
Believe in him? Perfect. Yeah,
So
what else?
smart.
What else would you do, Sawyer? What else would you do?
Obey
Mason, what do you
him.
think? What would you do to seek
Obey
God?
him.
Obey him? How do you, yeah, what were you saying?
Read the Bible.
Read the Bible. Exactly. You would want to read the Bible. So it's really important for us to be
Smart.
reading the Bible, right? So because God's words and instructions for our lives are in this book, the Bible, right?
Does that say
So
the?
let me ask you something. Do you guys think that we always know, do we always understand what God is doing if he asks us to do something?
No.
No? Let's do a demonstration about that. Okay, I'm going to bring the camera down just a little bit. Okay? Are you guys all in there? I want to make sure I
I'm
can
in here.
see all of your faces. Okay. So, come on in here, Mason. So, I have written a message, and it's in invisible. Can you see anything on this paper? Is there anything written on here? I've actually written something on here, and there's a message. Go ahead and have a seat.
If you hold it up to the light, you can see it.
I know, but let me show you what we did. So what I did is I took, a few minutes ago before you guys came in here, I took some baking soda, which is like right here, baking soda, and I put some water in here, and I stirred it around, and I wrote a little message on this paper, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is I am gonna have you guys reveal the message that is written here.
Reveal
So like we said, just like the Jews who were in exile, right? Did they understand why God was asking them to do that? Was it kind of invisible to them? They didn't understand why they had to wait for 70 whole years, right? So, but the way that we can reveal and understand what God is asking us to do is by trusting in him. So here's what I'm going to have you guys do. Is I'm going to have you, hold on just one sec. I'm going to flip this over, and then I'm going to have all of you guys kind of take a very small amount of, this is just grape juice. If you want to stick your thing in there.
Is it edible?
And then I want you to do a little bit of painting, very light painting. Don't get a whole lot of it on there,
I can
but
see
paint
what
the
it
whole
says
thing.
already.
Okay, go ahead and paint it on. Paint it on. So almost cover the whole paper. Cover the whole paper.
I know what it says.
Yeah, keep going. Write it all on there so that everybody at home can see. Okay. So what are you guys seeing? What message is coming through?
Trust God.
Trust God. Okay, go ahead and set your brushes down for a minute.
Can I drink that?
No, thank you.
Darn it.
Okay, so let's hold this up so everybody else at home can kind of see it. It's a little bit wet, but you can see that it says trust God, right?
Can I
So do we always, the grape juice is sort of representing the things that we do to seek God, right? To be able to understand and trust what he's asking us to do. So we're reading the Bible, we're praying, we're confessing our sin, right? And those kinds of things are going to reveal God's guidance to us, no matter what happens in our life, right? So can we, do you think it was kind of hard for them to trust God in those 70 years? Mm-hmm. It took a lot for them to trust God. But we know that God's character is kind and loving and true, and he wants the best for us. So we know that we can trust God. Okay? So no matter what, and he was going to bring all of those Jews out of captivity, right? And the captivity that we are in right now is what? What are we in captivity? Well, yes, COVID too, but we are in the captivity of our own sin, right? So he will release us from that captivity of sin by being able to trust God and believe in Jesus, okay? All right, so have a great day, everybody, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.